Let's go into server script service, and we're going to create a module script. And this module script is going to be called, let me bring up the properties view real quick. I don't know why I had that off. This module script is going to be called our plot storage. So what this is meant to do is like be responsible for all of the data serialization and data storage that we will need when we are dealing with our plot. So keeping with the theme of each module having basically only one responsibility, that's what this one's going to be responsible for. So let's get a skeleton going for this plot storage. So first off, I want to do something interesting. You might not think of this when you're dealing with serialization and data storage, but I'm going to keep track of the number of players. So I'm going to do local players remaining equals instance.new number value. So at the beginning of each, cycle or each game, I guess, whenever this module is required, we'll create a new number value. The reason it's a number value, not just like a number, is because we can check when that value changes. And we're going to have two functions for plot storage right now. It's going to be plot storage dot load. We can take a player, which is of type player, and then we're going to, and in this function, we're going to say players remaining dot value less equals 1. So every time a player joins, the number of players remaining will be increased, which makes sense. We're going to do function plot storage dot save, and it's the same thing, player, and every time a player leaves and thus they have to save is it's going to be players remaining value minus equals 1. So we're continually keeping track of the players leaving and joining. And the reason we're doing this and not just using like the num players or whatever is because we don't really like those aren't really going to work because it doesn't tell you when it changes. And I guess you could use player removing, but we're allowed to control this value, so we'll only decrease this value once the data has been saved, because a player can leave and their data can still be saving like as they leave. So this value should only decrement once they actually leave and once it's actually saved. And this gives us, like us, the programmer, more control. So we'll continually keeping track of the players leaving and joining. And the reason we're doing this and not just using like the num players or whatever is because we don't really like those aren't really going to work because it doesn't tell you when it changes. And I guess you could use player removing, but we're allowed to control this value, so we'll only decrease this value once the data has been saved, because a player can leave and their data can still be saving like as they leave. So this value should only decrement once they actually leave and once it's actually saved. And this gives us, like us, the programmer, more control. So this will just set up like, the basic scaffolding. But before we get into the actual loading and saving, let's define our serialization function. So this serialization is basically taking some data like in our game and converting it into a format in which it can be saved onto a database. So we're going to say local function serialize plot is going to have a plot, which is a model, and it's going to return the data type that our serialized plot should be. So let's actually define that. So we're going to use
Today I found something pretty interesting that I just can't resist the urge to share with all of you. I'm just kidding. That's a classic gag right there. I got you good. But I did actually read something pretty fascinating. It was an independent study that was conducted that found 72% of games industry executives believe that Steam has a monopoly on PC games. And this is an interesting topic and something that I've talked about on stream quite a bit, but I want to yap about this because they're not entirely wrong. Steam is like a diet monopoly when it comes to PC games, but not because they use like
use a
No.
monopolistic tactics or anything.
keyword type.
Or anything, they
There's a
li-
type object. Info.
Keyword
Type.
Or anything, they
There's a
li-
type object. Info.
Keyword
Type.
Or anything, they
There's a
li-
type. Info.
Keyword
Type.
Or anything, they
There's a
li-
type. A.
Or anything, they
There's a
li-
type. A.
Or anything, they
There's a
li-
type. A.
Or anything, they
There's a
li-